Hey everyone! So I'm so excited. We are about to launch our ADU three-part series this week. We are at your live construction site right now. We are so excited to learn more information about this. So when we heard that Ruben has his client, which is you, Marco Melendrez General Contracting, specializing in ADU, we are so excited to have you on here, and thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you, Angelica. I feel like I'm like actually in construction right now. Like we got the hard hats, we got to be safe in case something falls.
Right?
We're
Love
safe,
the
following all the
props.
safety rules. But yes, I'm very fortunate. Actually, Mr. Melendrez Marcos is my client, and I got to meet him when I helped him finance this particular property we're in right now. And he came to me and told me, I'm going to buy a home and I'm going to construct on it and I'm going to build ADUs. And so he's given us the opportunity to come here and check it out. And, he's been in the business for a while. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Marcos? Tell us about your business, just how long you've been in business for, how long have you been constructing ADUs, and just give us some of that background information about you and your company.
Sure. I started my business around 1999, so I have about 26, 27 years on the business.
That's a pretty good time.
Yes, I started as a painter, actually. My company was a painting company. Then a little after that, we started doing all kinds of constructions to get my license. So yeah, I became general contractor license probably 18, 19 years ago.
Okay. And now ADUs have become the thing. And like, how long do you think ADUs really started taking off? We're in San Diego, so here in San Diego.
Correct. ADUs was signed off by the governor. I believe it was Governor Brown back in 2016, I believe.
Okay, so 10 years ago.
Correct.
10 years ago. And now, how long have you been building ADUs? Your main concentration is building ADUs.
Yes, roughly I have about 5-6 years that we start building ADUs. So ADUs start really blowing around 2020.
Okay, how many ADUs have you built?
We've been building probably around 18, 19 ADUs so far.
Okay, all right, excellent. I know that when we were talking about doing this, we wanted to really provide information that people are not getting. And one of the things we were talking about that people are not getting is how much does it cost? Like it's like, like I don't know if it is. Some contractors just don't want to give that information until they actually bring the client in, maybe because they want to kind of sink the hook first. Yes. But I like that you're really honest and upfront, and you were like, no, you know what? I know how much it costs, and I'll put it out there. Yes. So why don't you talk to us about the types of ADUs? And let's start with the cost. What people really want to know, I think people really want to know, what does it cost to build an ADU? What kind of ADUs do you build? We don't know. So why don't you give us more information about that?
Sure. Some of the most common ADUs, it's a garage conversion. That's what we mostly do because it's easy, it's quick to get all the permitting processing and all that. And it's inexpensive for the client. So a garage conversion, typically a two-car garage conversion is about 400 square feet. Those runs between $85,000 and $100,000 from start to finish. Of course, with all the inspections and everything. That's pretty much the cost, roughly.
So everything included, inspections, roughly about 100,000 max.
That is correct.
Okay, that's good to know. So somebody who wants to convert a garage right now, most garages, you said two-car garages are about 400 square feet?
Yes.
Okay. What can you build in a two-car garage?
Typically, we do one bedroom, a full-size bath, which is 5x8 usually, and a small little kitchen and small living room. He has pretty much everything a decent size.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it have a washer and dryer hookups? Does it have, AC? What does it all come with?
Yes. It has everything that needs to be living there. So in order for that so we can be signed off the final inspection on it, has to have a full kitchen, we call it. Of course, a sink and a stove. And then full bathroom, as I said. And also has a mini split. That's what we usually use most of the time, which is AC and heater also. Yeah.
So I'm loving all of the features that come with the build. Now, what does a potential return on investment look like? What are the numbers on that?
Yeah, the rental, I believe it's around $2,000 on a car on a garage conversion. It's about $2,000 rental a month. So we look those numbers. So I want to say probably in about 4 years you can get your money back, pretty much.
Okay. And when we're looking at a garage conversion, are we typically putting one bedroom or two bedroom ADUs?
It's a one bedroom that we can do in 400 square feet. It's
Oh,
only one bedroom. It has a minimum of size
uh-huh.
to be a bedroom, so it only can be accommodated one bedroom.
So your average two-car garage right now is typically around 400 square feet?
Yes,
Okay. So a 400 square feet garage converted into a one bedroom, and you're looking at least $2,000 in a month for rental passive income.
correct.
So who would your ideal client be? What type of people have these types of properties or?
On our experience, we have most of the people we have, most of the clients, it's people who already pay the house, buy the property long time ago, so they have equity. Most of that people, I want to say, probably they don't have the funds to build it, but they do a refinance or their HELOC or any kind of loan out of the property, and then they use that to build the ADUs, the garage in this case, and then the rental will help them out to pay back, I want to say, the loan, and still they can get some extra money for them to help them for their expenses.
So Ruben, can you tell us a little bit more about what a HELOC is or a cash out refi? How can we make an opportunity of building ADUs or converting a garage? How can we make that possible for the average consumer who might already own a property like that?
Yeah, so for somebody looking for financing options, the most likelihood option is a second mortgage on their property, right? So that would be what's called a HELOC or a HELoan. A HELOC would be similar to a credit card. It's a line of credit. So that, for example, let's just say work with the $100,000 number. You get a line of credit for $100,000, which is a HELOC. And as you're building, you're borrowing from your HELOC, so you're only paying on what you're borrowing. So it's a great product, something that takes, how long does it take to build the garage conversion, for example?
It's about 3 to 4 months, the construction time.
Okay, so you have your HELOC,
Wow.
and you start getting money out, and you don't take it all out. You take it and you pay as you go. I'm assuming that, why don't you tell us, while we're talking about this, why don't you tell us how it works as far as how you get paid when somebody hires you?
Correct.
Do they give you the 100,000 all at once, or how does this work?
No, typically we have, of course, a contract. We ask for down payment, which is about 10%, 50% of the full amount. Then we divide the balance on equal weekly payments according to the time frame that we figure out it's going to be. In this case, 3-4 months. So basically, a balance is divided on about 15 weeks.
Yeah, okay. So the HELOC is a great product for this because they don't have to pay interest on the full loan amount or line amount. So as they borrow and they pay you, they're only paying on that amount until the project is fully completed. Then they use their HELOC. So that's one product. A HELoan is once you use your line of credit, now you want to convert it into a fixed loan with a fixed term. Mm-hmm. So that way you have a fixed payment and it's set to be paid off at a certain period of time. Just like a car payment, right? 5 years, the interest rate, and every month you pay the same amount. When you're done paying it, your loan is paid off. That's a HELoan. So once you take the HELOC, you convert it into a HELoan. Now you set for your term. That's one option. The other option is to take a refinance on your home and pull the cash out and just have one loan instead of doing the HELoc, the HELOC. And that could be a good option too. What we're seeing right now, to be honest with you, is that if you have a very good interest rate on your first mortgage, you don't want to refinance. So the HELoan and the HELOC are your best options. But a refinance cash out would also work.
So Ruben, let me ask you this. Can you paint a couple of scenarios where a HE loan or a HELOC or a cash out refi would be the best option for someone, what types of different situations would a consumer have to be in to guide them to the right product?
Right now, Angelica, where we're at today, right, in our market, I would recommend for the client to get first if you have a first mortgage and you have a very low interest rate, I wouldn't touch it. I would get a HELOC, which is the variable interest. And once the project is done, we would take that HELOC and convert it into a HE loan. So it's a fixed rate. You don't have to worry if the rates go up or down. It's fixed at a term. Now, if you currently have a loan like a first mortgage and the rate is 6.5%, I can get you a lower interest rate right now with a cash out refinance. So maybe it would make sense to take the first and the second and combine them. So that's, each scenario is going to be case by case depending on the client's situation. But I think it's all about doing like the right product for each client. So that I think right now, most of our clients are probably going to be HELOCs converted into HE loans.
So you mentioned a variable rate for a HELOC. Is that going to be dependent upon their credit score, their income, or how do you measure what someone's variable rate would look like?
Yeah, it's very credit score driven.
Credit score.
And loan to value driven. So we will look and see how much equity they have. The more equity you have, the more secure it is for the bank, meaning less risk for the bank. And then we'll look at your credit score. The higher your credit score means that you pay on time, you're less risk, you're going to get a better interest rate. So this is definitely driven by your credit score and your loan to value. And those are two very important key factors when you're going to get a HELOC.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. I mean, because that opens the doors for a lot of people who have the loan to value or the equity that's built into their property already. So Marco, if we can bring this back to the experience that you've provided for your clients right now, over the past 5 to 6 years that you've built 18 units already, how has bringing ADUs changed their lives? Can you tell us a little bit about how passive income, or even for generational wealth building, or even for yourself? I know that being here in this triplex that you're building now,
Yes.
how are you providing a legacy for your family, and how are you building wealth for the future of them?
Yeah, that's exactly our goal, our plan. On our experience to what we see so far, this is a good, as you mentioned, passive income for us and for our future. So that's why we are in this business now. Now we're building for ourselves. Some of our experienced clients that I had before, sometimes it's all couples that the kids go and make their own life. So they're ended being a big house, most of the time 2-story house, which is very common. And they prefer to build an ADU for themselves so they can rent it out their house and get, the rentals right now, they're really high. So they can get a good amount of money on the rentals, and they can live on a single story, not doing the stair all the time, which is a little difficult when you're getting a little old. So that's some of the stories we had before, yes.
I know, especially right now with the baby boomers retiring, having to go upstairs. I mean, those joints are.
I was just gonna say, I'm not retiring, but even at where I'm at today, I prefer a single story home. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm feeling it already.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? I also have clients right now who are looking to be newlyweds, and they have property. They're living with mom and dad. They're asking me questions. What can I do to just add an ADU in, our front yard, on top of our 1-story, in the backyard next to the pool, things of that nature. What is common here in San Diego County that you see that people are adding their ADUs? Are they mainly attached ADUs, or are they detached? And what is the cost difference for an average consumer who might be looking to stay with mom and dad?
Yes, the different types of ADUs. For example, as I mentioned before, garage conversions is one of the most common. Then you can also build an attached ADU, so it has to be attached to the main residence, and then we can do detached. It's all depends on the client necessity. If they want to keep more yards, usually we do an attached. If it's a big, really big lot, big yard, then we can go detached, which is I want to say a better option, a detached that it has its own rules. Example, if you build detached, you have to have solar panels, for example. That's one of the rules when it's detached. If it's attached to the house, then you don't need solar panels. So it's like an extra expense you got to be ready for. That's the way California is going. Now, junior ADUs, it's always 500 square feet or under, which is most of the time garage, or we can even build an ADU, junior ADU, the same way, attached to the house, a new construction, but it has to be under 500 square feet. ADU could be from 501 square feet up to 1200 square feet. And that also can be attached or detached.
Wow. So going back to the solar, is that a requirement now if it's a detached ADU? California is requiring that to have solar panels?
That is correct. On a detached ADUs, it's going to be required to have a solar panel.
Okay.
And it has to be during the construction process. So by the end, when we're doing the final inspection, we call it, solar panels needs to be installed. And they do, usually companies we use, they do their own inspections on their panels. So they need to do their inspections before I can do my final inspection. But yeah, now it's a requirement. And I want to mention also all the ADUs now, they're full electric. Even if it's a garage conversion, attached, detached, all the sizes, junior ADU, ADU, 100% they're all full electric now, no more gas.
Wow. Okay. So for an average consumer, I'm still learning all of this.
Yes.
If I was interested in building an ADU in converting my 2-car garage, I feel like this is a lot of work. What do you do for Melendra's construction company? How do you do all the heavy lifting for me? Because I'm already scared about going down to the county to get permits. Like, how do I outsource these appliances, the electric bills? Do you do all of that? Or is that something that I have to outsource myself?
Yeah, we have a full team now. I have my good architect, engineers. We have a full team. So basically, when a potential client contact me, we show up, talk to them, get their idea, their plans, what they want to build. We guide them through sizes, layouts, prices. If they agree, if it's within their budget and in their plan, then we make a contract right away. We bring our architect to the site, and all together as a team, we'll decide on the layouts. When my client agree on the layout, then we start working on the full set of plans. We take care of the plans. My architect, he submit the plans until they approve. Then, of course, he give it to me, and we start the construction. The client doesn't need to get involved on any paperwork and any of that. That's all included on our project and our price.
Wow. So what it sounds like is you do all of the heavy lifting and take out all of the stress that goes into the thinking of building an ADU.
That is correct. We take care from A to Z, they call it, from start to finish, all the plans, all the paperwork, and then we build it until the end. Basically, we just turn key to the client to live on the property.
Okay.
Now, Angelica, I have a question from an audience. Just kidding. Well, we've had to prep this because we knew this was going to be longer. There's a lot of information. But I do have a question. And you were talking about the bigger ADUs, they're over 500 square feet. And I know that when we were talking yesterday, you mentioned that there's additional costs when you go over a certain square footage. Can you talk to us about that cost, how it increases if you build over, I believe, 750? Is that what it is? Okay, if you can talk to us about that. And also tell us, if you build up something that's 749 square feet, what is the cost for that? And what can that rent for? So a couple of questions there.
Sure. Yeah, the city, of course, they have their own rules on all these fees for construction and inspection fees and all that. They're the one who estimate that. But there's a fee called a DIF, Development Impact Fee, and they apply that when the construction is 750 square feet or higher or bigger.
And how much is that fee usually, approximately?
It varies. I really see different numbers on a 750 or 800 square feet ADUs. I see a few of those, and I really see the varies. But I want to say it's probably between 10,000 and 20,000 could be. It's a big fee.
Just to go over 749 to 750, you're looking at another $10,000.
That's probably, yes. That's
Wow. Okay, this is good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, and what can you build for? What are you building for 749 square feet? What is your typical build, whether it's attached or its own? What is the build? And that's considered an ADU now. It's not a junior because we're over the 500 square feet, right?
That is correct. Yeah. Actually, that size is most of the common ADU for that reason. So 745, 49 square feet. Usually we accommodate 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, good size living room and kitchen. Yeah, so it's a small little house, 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, pretty much.
And what does that cost approximately? What do you charge to build something like that?
Build something like that, we charge around $200,000.
$200,000.
That's the price. I want to mention something. 80-90% of the time we build an ADU, even if it's a garage or an ADU by itself, most of the time we need to do a electrical main panel upgrade. And that's, of course, it's an extra cost because typically all properties, all houses have only 100 amp main panel. So for sure, we're gonna need to do an upgrade on that because what I mentioned before, they're now full electric, so they need their own power. So what happens is when you submit the plans to build an ADU, even 1 or 2 ADUs, automatically the city give you a new address for that. They do that. That's their job. That's what we need to do. Electrical panel upgrade with 2 meters or 3 meters. On this case, like what we're building here, it's going to be a three units. On this case, we are installing a 3-meter new electrical panel. So each one is going to have its own address.
Okay, and we're building something that's 749 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. What can that rent for approximately? What are you seeing the rents on those?
I see the rents of those running from $2,600 to $2,800.
Okay, that's great, right? Because I know we ran some numbers yesterday when we were talking about all of this, and if you get a HELOC, not the variable one, the fixed one, for 20 years at 7%, and you borrow $200,000, the payment was $1,500. So if you're renting it for $2,800, you're cash flowing $1,300 a month.
Yes.
I mean, so it's just revenue that you have. In addition to that, if you, why would you want to build something more than 749? I mean, you build them. What's the scenarios do people say, no, I just want bigger?
Yeah, in a few cases, people really needs bigger for some reasons, even for rental or they're gonna move in, but still they want a big house. So they go higher. I would recommend if you're gonna go, you're gonna see the 750. You're gonna pay that fee, but we're not gonna go in 800 or 900, so it's not worth it. Then usually they go up to 1,000 or even 1,200, which is the maximum. Okay. So now we're looking at a different scenario. Now it's a 3-bedroom, 2 bath. Let's say it's a standard house now when we go up to 1,200 square feet.
Okay, I imagine that when you go up to 1,200, maybe some of those scenarios are people they are going to rent their main house and they still want to be really comfortable in the ADU and they want to kind of maximize the space, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Let's see here. So we have that. Okay. Tell us a little bit about this place because I think this is a great investment. I mean, if you don't mind, we can talk about the cost of this. Sure. Is that okay?
Sure.
This was something you found. I remember when you found it, it was literally falling apart. Yeah. The cost of this, you got it for $650, which didn't seem like a good deal at that moment. But you had vision, right? Really, you had vision. And that's now your vision's coming to life. And this is how if you're going to build wealth, especially here in San Diego, which is super expensive, you have to find these diamonds in the rough. And this is a diamond in the rough. So give us your vision, what you're doing here, what you're building, what you think the final value of this is going to be when you're all done. Just give us more information. I think people really want to know. This is an amazing property, and what you're doing here, I think, a lot of our clients want to do something like this.
Before you continue on that, let's make that part 2.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Good.
I definitely think that having better knowledge on what an ADU is and how to get started and what the numbers look like and how we can create this as an opportunity for our consumers here in San Diego County, that's a huge bonus for us. So thank you so much for giving us all of that information. We can't wait for the next episode because we're going to talk about your project and how we can break into house hacking next.
Yeah. Comment ADU below if you guys want more information, and stay tuned for part 2 and part 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melendrez Construction.
Thanks.